Starting to feel it just a little bit. I think I'm weird. I love overcast days, kind of like today, because it reminds me of fall. Fall's my favorite time of the year. And it's fitting that today you have NFL teams, rookies reporting for training camp. We'll be there with the Browns. And I'm not trying to rush away the summer in any stretch of the imagination. But football is on the mind, man. As we're getting ready to go, an important training camp coming up. We know what this season means for the Cleveland Browns, and I'm just getting a little sprinkle of football as we get geared up for Browns training camp out there in Berea and all the questions that go into it. And I will say this offseason has been a little different for the Cleveland Browns, where the question about Deshaun Watson, it's always been there. But as far as training camps of the past, I feel like it's been relatively quiet. You don't have that first-round pick. You didn't make some huge, giant splash. I like Jerry Jeudy, don't get me wrong. You didn't make some huge splash in free agency. And it's just kind of this quiet storm as we get ready to go for the Cleveland Browns. Now, sometimes quiet is not always good. Sometimes you forget, you lose sight of the real maybe issues facing your team. I'm not talking to Deshaun Watson. We all know what that is. But there's some other questions that we have surrounding the Cleveland Browns as we get ready to go for training camp. One of those questions you might have got a little answer from yesterday with Nick Chubb squatting an insane amount of weight. Everybody, that bar is supposed to bend. Remember when he posted a video of him doing that tsunami bar? Everybody goes, oh my God. And there's like, no, it's supposed to bend. But he looks good. He's coming back. He's part of our question this morning about two guys and maybe an issue that you have getting ready to go for training camp. Congrats go out to Dustin Hopkins, one of the highest paid kickers now in football, as he has signed a new 3-year deal with the Cleveland Browns. We'll talk specialists. That's right. We'll talk specialists. Because in this town, we got a love of backup quarterbacks. But boy, do we love our kickers, punters, and long snappers. So we'll get into a discussion about that coming up. We have plenty of Guardians. I'm excited. 9:45. Justin Latta, Locked On Guards. Great baseball person. We'll talk the draft. We'll talk prospects. We'll talk trade deadline with Justin coming up at 9:45. We'll sprinkle in a little Cavs. Back to the Browns, too. We do have the linebacker rankings today. Did Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah make it? Trendy Super Bowl picks for 2024. And maybe we'll dive in a little bit of college. College starting up before you know it. I've got the Big Ten preview this morning from Bill Connolly at ESPN. Of course, we all think and believe that it's going to be Ohio State that you're looking up at for this season, but we'll discuss that as we dive into that. We got the bracket. We'll get to the grid. We've got the morning update. And do not forget, somebody out there is gonna win my copy of EA College Football because I can't play it. So the giveaway is on at Matt Fontana Show on Twitter X. All you gotta do is retweet, follow and retweet. That's it. You're in. We've already got over 200 submissions for that. Keep that rolling. We'll announce our winner on Friday. We'll dive into the video game sphere a little bit today as well, right here on a 2 for Tuesday on Big Play. Welcome to the show, everybody. I am Matt Fontana. He is Ryan Tyler. I would ask Ryan if you played EA College Football yesterday, but you also had a 13-hour day yesterday, so I'm not sure you got any time in on it.
No, I didn't even get to watch people play it.
Like stream, yeah.
Right, so I have no idea if it's good or not.
Seen
it looks
clips.
okay. All I want to do is rebuild my Bearcats and do a dynasty in college football.
Somebody said the Dynasty's not even out right now. Somebody said Dynasty's not even like available right now.
Oh, you can't rebuild your programs yet?
No, I just something about it. Like, again, I don't have the game, so I have no idea.
Well, isn't it technically not fully out to everybody till Friday?
Right. This is early release. Somebody said like Dynasty, like, because everybody, wants to dive in and take San Jose State to the national championship, right? You want to take Cincinnati. There's something weird about it. I don't know what it is, but there's something about the game. So we'll discuss that coming up a little bit later. We'll talk some video games here on the show as well. Home Run Derby last night. Way to go for Jose. Like, advancing to the semis, that was a lot of fun to watch. As soon as he was out, I turned it off. And congratulations to the Oscar. And dude, I had 3 bets on it. Who did we take? I put money on Jose, Pete Alonso, and Adolis Garcia. And Garcia and Alonso didn't even make the semis, and Jose ran out of gas.
I should have said Teoscar because he was on my fantasy. Because he's on my fantasy team, and I was like, I didn't think he actually had a chance winning it.
No, I didn't either. And it's been a little bit of the, like, not shocking winners, but you got to want to do it. Like, you see how hard those guys got to go to do it. So it was a lot of fun last night. You get the All-Star game tonight. ALNO. We'll place a wager on that later. I want to say, is there not like some insane trend about one side winning?
Matt, I haven't watched an All-Star game in years.
Really?
No.
I watched at least the start. Trying to see, like, I don't want venues. I don't want managers. I'll look this up for later because I wanted to say that the AL was like on some. Hang on. I got it right here. Stand by. Okay. All right. Recently. That's what it is. So the NL won last year. That ended a streak of 10 straight years of the AL winning it. AL. Okay. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, canceled in 2020, 21, and 22. The AL won all of those games. The NL won it last year 3-2. You want to lock? Take the under. All these games are 6-run totals, 4-run totals. So we'll get to that with the All-Star game coming up. You're not going to watch for like Jose, see when David Fry gets into the game?
I'll watch it this year for a couple.
Oh, this year because we have 5. Okay, I get what you're saying. Like if you only have 1 or 2, you don't really care. We got 5. So Jose's starting. I want to see what Naylor Jose and Quan are starting. So we'll see them, see their at bats. I do want to see when Fry gets in the game. Naylor's nice, and if Class A pitches or not, whatever. But that'll be exciting. So we'll get ready to go for the All-Star game with our wagers a little bit later. Flip over to some football. I think we all saw the video yesterday. Nick Chubb doing what he does best, other than running the football, and that's squatting an obscene amount of weight. So it's funny when Stump Mitchell was here, we talked to Stump, and this was when Nick, before the injury and all that, and he would post those squatting videos, and we asked Stump, we're like, does that concern you? And he goes, no, but he goes, I don't like it that he does it without a belt. Like, it's even that much more insane that Nick Chubb does those squats without a weight belt on, which is just insane. But we all saw the video. And you want to, dude, I don't think they're putting 500 pounds on his back to squat unless his knee was in some sort of good shape. I can say that sitting here. I have to bring up this Le'Veon Bell tweet. So Le'Veon Bell, we all remember with the Steelers and holding out, all that kind of stuff. The NFL posted that video of Nick Chubb yesterday. And they said it looks like he's doing all right. Le'Veon Bell, a detractor, not of Nick Chubb, but of the squats. And I'm just bringing this up. I find it kind of interesting. Here it is. He said they lied and tricked us all thinking that squats are good. Le'Veon Bell, that squats are good for the body. It's definitely not. He then continues. It's very slight, but you can see in Chubb's deep in his squat, he has to shift his weight to his right slightly, meaning his body is in compensation mode. And as athletes doing it our entire lives, we're taught to ignore that. I hope the best for him this season. So here I am with unbridled optimism that Nick Chubb is squatting all this weight, and now here comes Le'Veon Bell going, maybe that's not good for him. The injury was to the left leg, as we know. So I'm happy to see Chubb doing that. It means that he's on some sort of path back. And it's also whatever gets him back to normalcy. The biggest thing about Nick Chubb is trying to get him back to a whatever level he can be. And I've had this debate with you, Ryan, on this show, and it's a mindset that I need to shift. It's I need to be shown that he can't come back from this injury, as opposed I need to be shown he will. It's all about just a mind game that you're playing with yourself. It's that I've got no reason to believe that Nick Chubb won't come back from this injury. It's I need to be shown that he can't. It was a gruesome knee injury. He's a little older. I know the one in college and all that. I see the squats. I want to believe in it. Ryan, I'm still concerned about Nick Chubb, and I still have a level that I don't know if he'll ever get back to what he was. It's a big common theme with the Browns this year is if he can get back, if Deshaun Watson can get back, and you got to realize guys just age. Knee injuries or shoulder injuries aside, guys get older, guys change, they're not the same. Now, any 80% of an elite Nick Chubb is still an elite running back, and that's kind of where my mark is for him.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. It's going to be an uphill battle ever. The day he broke his whatever medical term it was, if you remember.
Talking about Watson?
No, I'm talking about Chubb. I know Watson was the glenoid.
Glenoid, yeah.
Whatever Chubb, I'm just saying shattered his leg for lack of medical, for my medical ignorance. Excuse my medical ignorance.
He hurt his leg really bad.
Listen, that was live TV, and that was one of the worst injuries I've ever seen in my life. I compared it with the only other injury that I saw, and I don't even think it was as worse as Nick Chubb's was that Gordon Hayward injury when he broke his leg.
That was bad.
Opening night of the season in Cleveland.
There's a lot of other, but I don't want to think about them.
That's what I'm saying.
Don't Google the Kevin Ware injury.
And for a guy to sustain 2 injuries like that in his lifetime is just unbelievable. But like I said, I mean, I've always had the mindset that he's earned that right to make me think that until I see he can't come back from it, I'm just going to assume he can't. And is that a dangerous game? Sure. But at the end of the day, I mean, that dude is literally Batman. I compared it to him, Batman in The Dark Knight Returns, breaking his back, rising out of that pit, and then coming to defeat Bane. Like, that was incredible. And that's what I mean, it just so happens that Nick Chubb is the biggest Batman fan there is.
I'm sitting right here, man.
Nick Chubb is the second biggest Batman fan there is. And I'm just going to assume he's going to be able to come back. And like you said, even at 80%, Nick Chubb is still an elite running back. And the reality is in today's NFL, I mean, running backs are, I don't want to say unimportant because there's no position that's unimportant. But in terms of importance and the way the game's evolved to play in today's day and age, running back in comparison isn't as important as it once was.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. No, Nick is he's legit, man. He's a legit guy. He really is. I interviewed him one time just about Batman. I'll never forget this. I went up to his locker, and he had done his media availability, and usually it's rare that you go annoy a guy after he got done with his media. And I walk up to him and say, hey, Nick, can I talk to you for a second? And he looks at me. He's like, about what? And I was like, this actually has nothing to do with football. Can I just talk Batman with you for a second? And he goes, yeah, sure. So I talked about, I think it was only a 7-minute interview. I was like, why do you like Batman? What's your favorite one? All that. And I know
he enjoyed it.
Oh, he loved it. It was great. And then he also, that post that he had a little while ago about coming back, that was a deep cut Batman reference. So he's a legit fan. I accept him into the brotherhood here of brother and sister.
What about me?
You're a fan.
All right, cool.
You're a fan. You have working knowledge.
It's true, I do.
You have working knowledge. That's all I asked. That's all. And by the way, we got Batman and Time Hop a little bit later. Cool. So we'll get to that. It's a big day in Batman history. We'll get to that coming up. So I flipped over to CBS Sports, talking about Nick Chubb this morning. We see the video. And they went around, and I want to do this for the Bengals, we do it for the Steelers and the Ravens as well. The biggest questions facing every AFC team as they get ready for training camp. And we're going to make this our first 2 for Tuesday this morning. Their question was, what is the status of Nick Chubb and Amari Cooper entering training camp? Now, our question is not going to be what the status is. Our question this morning will be, who are you? Do you want to say concerned, interested? When you look at these two guys, there's major questions surrounding both of them. Which one are you more concerned about? Which one are you paying more attention to? Amari Cooper or Nick Chubb? And they're two pretty different situations. They're both elite players. This offense does not go without those two guys out there. So you have a wash, so to speak, of the importance to the team. Then you've got a contract situation with Amari Cooper, who is still coming off of injury, but his is a contractual thing. Nick Chubb is a physical coming off injury thing. They're two different things, but these guys are linchpins for this offense, for this team, and there's questions surrounding them. That's kind of how I started the show. I think we forget that. In the jumble of what this offseason has been, it's been quiet, which has been nice. It's fine. That's great. You get ready to go for training camp, and you sit there, and I would say 2 of the 4 most important players on your offense, knowing Deshaun Watson is number 1, maybe the O-line, maybe Njoku, but I would really sit here and say it's 2 and 3 on your list of importance for the Browns offense. Nick Chubb and Amari Cooper are 2 and 3, however you want to do it, and there's major questions surrounding both of those guys. You might say, and that gets into our question about which one you're more concerned about, Amari Cooper's is easily remedied. Here, I got a Sharpie. That's all I got.
Should be. Just
That's it.
Pay the man.
That's it. All I got's a Sharpie. I don't know if you sign contracts with a Sharpie or not. That's all you do.
Hell no. What are we in preschool? It's a pen,
You want it in permanent. You ever sign contracts where you have to go and initial each page?
Yeah.
You ever done that?
Yeah.
Amari Cooper's done. That's it. That's all that takes. I wish I could do that for Nick Chubb. If they gave me something in front of me, a piece of paper that said Nick Chubb is back, and I just signed that, that's fine. I'd do that. Amari Cooper is more easily remedied. But you have maybe the heir apparent replacement. With this Dustin Hopkins deal, which I want to talk about, how does that not impact Amari Cooper? Like, I don't mean to cut it this way. You signed your kicker before your number one wide receiver.
Yeah, but
that's one way to slice this, and that's money. I know it's just $15 million, like $5 million for a kicker, and he's top 5. Like nobody pays. Well, obviously nobody pays kickers, but you know what I'm saying? It's a kicker. If I'm Amari Cooper fighting for a deal, and I get the alert, or my agent calls me and he goes, "Yeah, they just signed Dustin Hopkins." That's $5 million a year that they don't have to then pay Amari Cooper, right? And again, I'm cutting that's like one way to slice it. I'm not saying that that's on the forefront, but that's something that factors into this. Then, of course, what does it then get you? The Watson money.
I was about to say that.
And what are you doing with that? You know where I stand on that whole damn thing is we're in the middle of July now.
Okay, wait. Before we delve off into this conversation,
sure.
I want to go back to this Deshaun Watson restructure because we know it'd be a lot easier to re-sign Amari Cooper this extension if you restructure Deshaun Watson.
Everybody
but the reason,
if you wanted to.
But just for the people listening, the reason you don't is because if you have to get out of this, which it might be a real possibility, you don't want to do that because you don't want to extend just paying him. But my question to you is, we know if you don't have a quarterback, and I'm quoting you on this, you're pissing into the wind. And
correct. Put that on our show T-shirt. And when Cody makes our show T-shirt, put our logo on the front and put on the back. If you don't have a quarterback, you're pissing into the wind.
And I completely agree with that. And I think it's been pretty evident in the NFL these days. If you don't have a quarterback, you quite literally are pissing on yourself. Now, my point being that said is, if you don't have Deshaun Watson doesn't work out here, right? Then I understand you're going into, I don't want to say a rebuild, but you're going in the direction again where you are so lost without a quarterback. So why not just go all in? And I understand that you have to extend that money for 2 years. You're already all in regardless with this Deshaun Watson deal. The day you signed that deal, you were all in. And my point
now, yeah.
Right. But I'm saying in 2 years from now, even if Deshaun doesn't work out, I mean, Miles is 2 years older. Amari Cooper's going to be 32 at that point. Jerry Jeudy, let's say, doesn't work out. Now you don't even have a wide receiver 1 at all, not even close. I'm just saying, it already seems like you're all in on this hand. Why not go all in even more?
So it's a great question. And here's my pushback on why. When you have an elite quarterback, they get paid like an elite quarterback. What then must you do? You have to let other players walk because of a salary cap. This isn't baseball. And God, I would only wonder what quarterbacks would be getting as if they were playing in baseball and didn't have a salary cap, right? They'd be making $100 million a year. You have to let other players go, right? And you can look at examples all across the NFL, right? About why guys leave teams because they can't get paid because they're paying the quarterbacks. What do you then do as a team? You look at your quarterback and you go, these guys are leaving. This is now on you. Well, Matt, what does that mean if a safety leaves? Like when Jesse Bates left the Bengals, you still turn to Joe Burrow and say, you got to overcome that. You have got to overcome the deficiencies of the rest of this team. Now, the other issue in this whole damn thing is you just didn't pay Deshaun Watson. You lost draft picks to get guys in here on cheap deals to supplement and get the back end of your team built back up. Do you feel confident going to Deshaun Watson? Let's say you're all in. That's fine. You got to then go to him and say, we might not have Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. We might not have Amari Cooper. You might not have Myles Garrett. But you would go to a quarterback and say, you got to overcome that. What have they done in Kansas City over and over and over again? We let Tyreek Hill leave. We let these guys leave. It's on Patrick Mahomes. Now, all he has done is answered the bell and stepped up and done that. And you project a little bit. Here's a prime case study. What is Josh Allen going to be this year? They've let everything go. Everything. It's now on Josh Allen. And he has now ascended to, he's not some second-year rookie that you're wondering about. He's an established veteran. He's your guy. You get after it. That's the issue. You talking about putting all the eggs in one basket versus spreading it around? Now, what does spreading it around look like? You don't extend Watson, you don't restructure, and you can get Miles his deal, which I'm going to keep saying that because he needs it, and it would not shock me in the least if they announced an extension for Myles Garrett this offseason. But if they do, you know what that means? Watson's not getting restructured. You can't. There's no way. You give the money to Watts, or you give the money to Miles, you give it to Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, you spread it around, then you go say, Watson, outside of this deal, you are just going to have to be mid-paid, or we'll go find somebody else. We'll go find somebody else to play at $35 million, $30 million, whatever it is. And God bless you. We got to get to him, man. I'm part of my take, too. That was interesting stuff from him. But, like, there's two schools of thought. You build the team up, you go all in on the quarterback. More often than not, what do you see with a lot of teams? You go in all in the quarterback. Now, the Rams are different because they built it up for one run, won the Super Bowl. Tampa Bay built it up for Tom Brady there. But Patrick Mahomes is there because he's Patrick freaking Mahomes. You know, the Eagles, what did they have? They had a bunch of guys on cheap deals. That team will not look the same in the next couple of years. I know they signed Devontae Smith and they got A.J. Brown his deal and Jalen Hurts has his. What do you start looking around? Okay, they got Saquon Barkley. Eventually that O-line is going to take a hit. That defense is not the same. There's just this balance of what you're going to do. So when you think about it with Deshaun Watson's deal, it comes back to his play. If he had great play over the last couple of years, you'd feel better about giving him all the money and saying you're going to fix all these other problems. You don't feel that way right now, which is why they're playing this game out. You have got to leave this door open. And I'm not, trust me, I want Deshaun Watson to work. It's the easiest path for the Browns. I'd be lying to you if I didn't say I'm thinking about it not working.
Right. And
I'm more operating that it's not going to work. So if I'm operating that way, I got to start making moves in that mindset. Not restructuring them is number one on that. And I could be wrong. This afternoon, they could come out and they go, nope, we're restructuring the deal. He's here for another 6 years. Okay, that's the decision you make. I do not know how Andrew Berry could pull the trigger on that. I sit here with, he's got more on the line than I do. Sitting there saying, I feel fully convinced that we can give him an extension, restructure, and he'll be here for 6 years. Now, your point is well taken. You got almost no choice. You are in this thing. You made your decision. You got to live with it. I think you start looking for ways out. CBS Sports, biggest question surrounding every team as we enter training camp. Cleveland Browns, what's the status of Amari Cooper and Nick Chubb? The write-up. There are two questions surrounding the Browns' top two playmakers, but two vastly different reasons. Nick Chubb working his way back here from last year's knee injury, and Amari Cooper not participating in mandatory minicamp in hopes of getting a new contract. Browns fans will surely be keeping an eye on Chubb's status throughout camp. But when Chubb comes back, one would assume that he'll share the workload with Jerome Ford, who played well when Chubb went down last year. Jerome Ford's a polarizing figure in this town. I got people that tell me that he sucks, and I got other people telling me that he could actually be a number one back in the NFL. I feel like it's just, there's no middle ground, right? Like, I like Jerome Ford. I think you could do a lot worse than Jerome Ford being your number two running back and your number one fill-in when you need him. So I like Jerome Ford, but that is what it is. Fans will also monitor the status of Amari Cooper and whether or not he decides to show up for camp on time. It'll also be interesting to see if the Browns decide to give 30-year-old Cooper a shiny new deal this summer. Do you feel like they'll get him a deal? I kind of do.
I do, and I understand the narrative of receivers. Like, of course, yes, he's not going to be as fresh. He's not Justin Jefferson anymore. He's not on the level of Jamar Chase. I don't care that he's 30. Go look at his numbers last year with 5 different quarterbacks. He's still easily the number one receiver on this team. And this goes back to our question, which we didn't vote on yet. We asked, I worded it as, which Browns storyline are you more concerned about? I said Cooper contract conflict or Chubb health recovery. For me, it's Cooper, because if I say this, who would I rather go a full year without? Cooper or Chubb? I'm honest. I'd rather be without Chubb for the whole year.
Yeah.
I'm not going out there with my wide receiver one being Jerry Jeudy, who's never been in the system for a year yet, who to this point is a bust. And I'm not saying he can't turn it around, but Amari Cooper is easily the best wide receiver on this team. And without him, I'd rather have him in the offense than Nick Chubb. And that's just the reality of the NFL these days. I can't, with all these questions surrounding Watson, if he's good or not, how am I going to take out his number one receiver and expect him to be good?
Yeah, no, that's the thing. And that comes back to, are you putting that back on your quarterback? Are you going to push that back on your quarterback and say you got to make something with the rest of these guys here? That's it. So our question is up. That's our first 2 for Tuesday. Before we run around the rest of the AFC North with their biggest questions.
You didn't vote yet.
I didn't.
Don't duck it.
No, I'm not ducking it.
It's 50-50 right now.
I did vote, and my interest is more on Amari Cooper because I believe, number one, Nick Chubb is elite, but I did like what I saw with Jerome Ford, and I also...
Would you consider Amari Cooper elite?
I would. He's close. Sure. If you wanted to argue with me that he's elite, sure.
Bro has franchise records for 3 teams.
100%. I'll listen to that. The thing is... This is going to sound really weird, but you know how I do it, man. Chubb's knee's either going to be good or not. You know, like it's either going to be fixed or it's not. Like he is doing all the rehab. They had the surgeries. They've got amazing doctors. He's doing everything that he can. There's no point in me worried about it. It's either he's going to come back or not.
But Matt, take out the fact that there's nothing you can do right now for Nick Chubb's situation, and you know there is something you can do in the Amari Cooper situation. That's just pay the man. Take those out. Pretend like they're on an equal level. And it wasn't as simple as just pay the man.
Then the same thing as Amari Cooper. This is a passing league. And I need to find out about Deshaun Watson. I need Amari Cooper out there. I voted Amari Cooper.
Yes.
I voted Amari Cooper. I need him out there. It's a passing league. He has meant a lot to the team. I'm saying Nick Chubb has not. But okay, here's the weird thing. And it's probably more of just victim the moment. Of this last season, could you imagine where you would be without Amari Cooper? Now, I unfortunately saw where we were at without Nick Chubb. Cold-hearted son of a gun right here. You got over that. You still made the playoffs.
That's what I'm saying.
Don't clip this because it's going to get sent out. You made the playoffs without Nick Chubb. I don't think you make the playoffs without Amari Cooper.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? Like
that's not cutting right
to the bone.
It's not because it's not a knock against Nick Chubb.
No, I don't mean it to be at all.
And I know you don't. And it's not. It's just the reality of the NFL.
100%. That's where it at. All right, let's post our second 2 for Tuesday. Are you a gamer? Just want to ask. Just see how people feel. 2 for Tuesday. Always 2 questions, 2 answers. Our first one is up. Which one are you more concerned about with the Browns? Nick Chubb's recovery, Amari Cooper's deal. Second one, are you a gamer? Everybody's all excited for EA coming out. Elden Ring is very popular right now with the kid, or with the guy. So my wife, I obviously we've gone through this saga. You can win my copy of EA College Football. We're doing a giveaway on the show at Matt Fontana Show on Twitter X. You just have to follow the show, retweet the tweet, and you're entered to win my copy. We'll DM the winner on Friday, either PlayStation or Xbox, whatever you need. We'll get it to you. We'll get you the code. You can download it and play. It'll be a lot of fun. I can't play. So I am in the 7th level of hell right now, not being able to play the game. But I'm still a gamer. So I told my wife the story about how I can't play, and of course I'm not going to go just buy a new system. She looks at me, she goes, "Are you going to keep gaming?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" She goes, "Well, you have the kids now." And I was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Trust me, I don't game near as much as I used to. But when I get a minute, like on Friday nights, if my wife has something to do, I'm going to go down, pour myself a couple fingers of whiskey, and sit on down and grind some COD, right? That's what I like to do. So my generation, Ryan, has a lot going for it. And a lot going against it. But the one thing about my generation, millennials, we will be the first generation where the parents are better at gaming than the kids. Like, do you ever play video games with your parents?
Wait. Say that again?
My generation will be the first generation that might be better at video games than their kids.
Okay.
Yeah, like
you're not better than me.
So, like my dad, one of my memories growing up. So we had like a Sega Dreamcast, right? And my dad, who's a big racing fan, he went out and bought like this big, a racing setup with pedals and a steering wheel, and we bought a Formula One game to play. So we set it up in the living room. My brothers and I are playing. We're having a lot of fun. And my dad sits down and he's like, "What the hell is it?" You know what I mean? Like the prior generation didn't have video games. Mine did. So when I sit down with my son for the first time, and I don't know what game will be popular in 5 years, Fortnite or Roblox or mine. What is that? I was want to say Mindhunter, Minecraft or whatever. Yeah. I don't know how to play those, but I'll figure it out. But like when I sit down with Call of Duty, I'm going to show him a thing or two, right? So it'll be a little different. So she goes, "You didn't keep gaming?" I was like, yeah. Not near as much as I used to, but it's something that my generation does. So I'm a gamer. Mostly Call of Duty. I'm mixing. I'm back on the Batman Arkham series. Those games are really old, but
I've beaten every one of those.
Dude,
I have found all the Riddler trophies. Everything.
You got to do 100%. See, you're sitting there wondering if you're a Batman fan earlier. You played them to 100%. Look at you.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm going back playing those, waiting for the new Call of Duty to come out. So I'm a gamer. I know Ryan's a gamer, but I just thought we'd throw that out this morning with everything going on with EA college football.
I asked people to comment their favorite game of all time.
I love that. Ooh.
I think mine is God of War.
God of War is a good one. Excuse me. I admit that I'm biased, but the rankings back up that Arkham City is one of the best games ever made.
I did it. I still remember to that day. I was probably 11 when it came out, around there, and
God, did it make me feel old.
My mom, like, they were like leaving for the night.
Yeah.
And she bought me that game just so I could be busy all night.
Yeah.
And it was one of the best games I've ever played.
So good. So and it's hard because if you talk like Madden, it's every year. So like there's a franchise part of it.
Madden is poop.
I know. I'm just bringing that up. Like Call of Duty has had a really bad streak. There's nothing like obviously everybody goes to Black Ops, and Black Ops 2 is being the greatest Call of Duty of all time. Modern Warfare, the first one, is really good. Yeah, like if you had asked like the question of the best video game ever, of one that you would just play over and over and over again. Oh, dude, you don't remember GTA 3, though, man. When that hit...
No, the only one I played was 4.
But I'm just saying, like, you weren't even old enough to understand. Because the first 2 Grand Theft Autos that got released on, like, PS1 and Dreamcast, you were over top. I mean, it was just the time, right? You were over top, and all you could do was just move over top of watching the player. When GTA 3 came out, and it was open world... mind-blowing. Like, mind-blowing. Then I get back to Pokemon. I played the hell out of Pokemon Red and Blue. Didn't get in much into Yellow, because the big knock on Yellow was you could get all of them in one game. When you had Red and Blue, you had to have a friend to trade with to get all of them. Those are up there. Yeah, GTA, man. Dude, when GTA... And even Miami Vice, like, when that came out, that was a big game. I haven't played 5. I really haven't played it since Miami Vice.
You haven't played 5?
No.
Oh my goodness.
No. And again, like I know that's a very popular series. Assassin's Creed was fun, but really the only one that I played was 3. I'm trying to think of other games that I would like. If I could sit back down and like play them over again.
Uncharted 4 was gas.
I've heard good things about that. My brother loves Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah.
He said that one was so good. Yeah, I'm trying to think of other like.
Why haven't we done that for a bracket?
We can,
but like I'm not putting like college. I think.
Well, that's the other problem.
Should be like single player games, like God of War, Red Dead Redemption, Uncharted, Last of Us.
Well, do you put like Final Fantasy? Like there's all the. What's the other huge MMO? It's massive. Freaking cough today. God bless him.
What?
Not Final Fantasy. Oh my God.
Kingdom Hearts?
No. What was the Leroy Jenkins? What was the game he was playing?
Who the hell is Leroy Jenkins?
You've never heard of Leroy Jenkins?
No, I've heard of him.
World of Warcraft is what I was trying to get at.
Oh, but that's like a computer game.
That's right. You've never seen that video?
No, I've heard like the Leroy.
His buddies are all like, all right, give us some numbers crunch. And he goes, let's do it. Leroy Jenkins. And they go, oh my God, he ran in there. Oh my God, he ran in.
That was a meme of your day and age.
Yeah, 05 is when it came out. Thanks for that. Were you 4?
Yes.
Yeah, great. Yeah, World of Warcraft. I mean, again, those have like real longevity to it. Like people still play that game to this day over that. I mean, we could do it. Just again, it gets dicey because when you put Call of Duty into it.
People in the chat are claiming that you didn't have any friends to trade with in Pokemon.
I know I didn't. There's no claim to be had there. So the thing, you want to know the biggest issue was this. So when you had Red and Blue, I eventually got both. Now, it was a big ask, and one of my vivid memories of my childhood was the day my mom finally bought me a Game Boy. So I told you the story, I think, this week. My best friend growing up had a Game Boy Color before I did. So I would go to Ryan's house, not that one, the other one, and he'd be like, all right, man, let's go ride bikes. Let's go into the pool. I'd be like, no, where's your Game Boy? And I would just sit down at his house while he was doing other things.
Sounds like you're using your friends.
Right, and I would play his Pokemon game. So eventually my mom bought me, and I still have it, my Game Boy Color, and she got me Pokemon Red. And again, it's a big ask. It was a lot of money, all that. So I would play it. But then you not only, so even if you went and bought a blue, you still needed another Game Boy Color and the connection cable to then trade back and forth with your two. Then if you play it now as an adult, there are so many things that a 12-year-old kid would never realize. I'm weird. I'm a nerd. I get it. I watch speed runs of people doing Pokemon Red. They go into a corner and they pick up a moonstone or a rare candy. I'm like, how would I at 12 years old know that that is in that game right there? But I forget. As a kid, you think they make these games just for you, and they're like, no, there's 30-year-old guys that play this game too. So there's so much built into it now where if I went back to play Pokemon Red, it'd be so different than 10 or 11, 12-year-old you playing that game, which is weird. But like, you would have to have both to trade it back and forth. And now you see the evolution where these kids are playing Fortnite and they're on Roblox and all that other kind of stuff. It's crazy. And it's
is your son old enough to game?
So
he's what, 3?
He's 3. I don't want him until he's a little older.
Are you looking forward to the day he
Dad, let's sit down and play?
No, he needs your help to beat a certain
yeah,
stage.
that'd be great. Yeah. So here's what I do. I have a motocross game, like a dirt bike game. So I don't want him watching Call of Duty. I don't want him watching me play Batman. You know what I mean? Like that kind of stuff. So it's just a racing game. It's a motocross game. So he does love it. He'll sit with me and he goes, Dad, bikes. That's what he says, bikes. So I will give him my extra controller without batteries in it. And then I sit there and play it. And then he thinks he's playing it. He also asked to put on the ear covers. And he means my headphones, my gaming headset. So I put that on him, and it's fun. He sits there, and he has, the time of his life. Eventually, yeah, like, I think it's, I don't know. I kind of look at it like how my parents did, and I think it was the right way to do it. When you start to see the friends getting involved, then it's probably time for him to get involved. Like, when he comes home and he says, Dad, Owen at school, he's got this video game or that, then I'll be like, okay, maybe it's now time. And the other thing is now I would know what game. Fortnite, I know it's a shooting game, but it's not like Call of Duty, so it's a little bit different. But like, yeah, if he told me he wanted to play Roblox or the Marbles game or the, I think Minecraft is pretty kids friendly too. Like, that's fine. I don't see the problem in that. I don't know. We'll get there eventually. Yeah, we'll get there eventually. I'm sorry, talking about EA college football. I think about the day, like if my kid was 8 right now, I'm sure he'd be like all excited, like, Dad, we got to buy this and I can't wait to play. And I'm like, sure, fire it up. Let's go. The thing is, I will not take it easy on my son.
Fair enough.
I will not take it easy. I'll show him how to play, but if I got to beat him 72-0, I'll beat him at 72-0. There ain't no giveaways here. And that's some hard-ass dad or something. Just, hey, man, this is how the game's got to get played. Let's go. I want him to go beat his friends, so he's going to have the challenge with me.
Fair enough.
It's like golf. If you're a golfer, a lot of dads or parents or moms that are golfers, they say one of their proudest days is when their kid beats them at golf. So there will be a day that my son beats me at a video game. Maybe at golf, too. I'd like him to beat me at golf. Probably not that hard anymore, but that'll be a good day, too. But eventually, I'll get him one. He already has the controller. He likes to come down and play with my controller.
What if he wants to play GTA?
Now, that's like, no. And that's like the balance, I think, is any parent out there, and I'm going to need advice on how to handle that. Like, how do I sit there and tell, if he comes in and he goes, oh, all these kids at school are playing this game, and I'm like, dude, I don't want you to play that game yet.
He's going to learn eventually.
I know.
Take him to the strip club in GTA.
That's what I'm saying. Like, there's parts of that game that I'm just like.
Pick up a hooker in GTA.
But then what do I come back to? And I was like, I was playing that game when I was 12. That Banshee was rocking, and we all know why. When you just pulled up to that one little spot. We all remember the spot where the Banshee was, too. You didn't play the game, but you knew there's a white sports car.
I thought you were like referring to Halo.
No, not that Banshee. Oh, man, OG Halo. There was nothing like that when it came out in the original Xbox. That's right up there. I got to replay that, man. Son of a gun. No, there was a car called the Banshee. So, like, on GTA, you can go around, there's, like, all these different cars. You got to put yourself in the mindset of GTA 3, which was so limited compared to now. There was one sports car that was faster than any other cars, and it only spawned one place in the game. And if you wrecked it, you had to wait for it. It didn't respawn instantly. It was always a white, they called it the Banshee. It was like a Corvette, like a Viper kind of looking car. and you'd go get that and you'd do all your missions and all that other kind of stuff. And then you know about the cheats, right?
Yeah.
Everybody. Up, down, left, right, L1, up, down, unlimited ammo, unlimited money, get rid of your 5 stars, all that kind of stuff. God, times were simpler, man. Times were simpler. All right, back to the NFL we go. CBS Sports, their biggest questions surrounding every team heading into training camp. So we talked about the Browns, status of Chubb and Cooper. Quick, Ryan, if you don't mind, quick update on our Twitter question this morning, please.
Yeah, it's really close. 52.1% is leading Cooper contract conflict there with us. 47.9% Chubb health recovery.
Interesting. Then our second one, Are You a Gamer? That is up there at Matt Fontana Show. Drops a follow and hit the retweet for a chance to win a copy of EA College Football. Rest of the list here from CBS Sports. We'll start with the Cincinnati Bengals. Biggest question for them, is Joe Burrow healthy? You know, we talked to our guys down in Cincinnati. They get angry when people bring up the wrist and he's fine, but that was an injury that I don't want to say unforeseen in the game, but there's more concern there than I think is maybe let on from the Cincinnati Bengals with their injury. Biggest question for the Baltimore Ravens. Can this rebuilt offensive line get the job done? They have had to redo 3 of their 5 starting offensive linemen coming into this season, and I'll give you one guess what the Pittsburgh Steelers' biggest question is going into training camp. Ryan, what would you say?
Who's going to be the quarterback?
Incorrect.
Really?
That really is the question. They asked if their receiving core was good enough. Like outside of George Pickens, Roman Wilson, Van Jefferson, Calvin Austin, they get rid of Deontay Johnson. But yes, the real question that we have there for the Pittsburgh Steelers is who's their starting quarterback, and is the starting quarterback going to be good enough? Be damned, the receivers are their quarterback. Are they going to be good enough? Is the big question there for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So that's around the AFC North as far as the biggest questions that go. Dustin Hopkins, congratulations, man. Congratulations on your deal. We got to talk about all that in hour 2. I've got the linebacker rankings coming out, and we got it all set. But we got to catch a break because Justin Latta is going to join us. Locked on Guards, prospects, trade deadline. Justin is a friend, but I will tell you, he's one of my favorite baseball follows. He is so good on the prospect side of things, getting everything that you need to know about the Guardians. He is going to join us next. We got plenty of football coming up in hour 2. Going to flip over and talk Guards with Justin Latta, Locked on Guards. He's coming up next. Folks, follow us on Twitter at Matt Fontana Show. Hit the retweet for your chance to win a copy of NCAA Football 25. Right now, 260 entries at this point. Now, we also have to verify that they actually followed the show. But start with the follow, hit the retweet. We're going to pick our winner on Friday right there at Matt Fontana Show. You can always subscribe on YouTube. We're up on Twitch and Instagram as well. Drop us follow across the board. Justin Latta going to join us next. Talk some Guards. Stay with us. Fontana Show right here on Big Play.
Well, how do they know I'm doing this? Did somebody leak this out?
It's social media.
Oh.
It's just that's the way social media works now.
I thought maybe you were just running that yep.
Welcome to Big Play, a sports media team that started back in 2014, and now we're not in a garage. Look at us, incorporating some of Cleveland's favorite sports personalities, bringing you fun and compelling content from downtown Cleveland. Coming to you live from the shores of Lake Erie and Burke Lakefront Airport, join Team Big Play for all the best sports talk in Ohio. Check us out on social media at Big Play, bringing you fun and compelling content from downtown Cleveland.
Anthony Schlegel, just how physical he was. You saw the girth and the power and everything he was bringing to the table, especially when he was a nice beefy 255 playing middle linebacker.
We were called soft last year. You don't want to be soft, especially when you come to the playoffs. So that's going to be a process throughout this season of establishing us as a harder team here in the
I don't buy into this nonsense, this conspiracy nonsense that he's got his money and he's dogging it. That's ridiculous.
They're off in the Kentucky Derby as Authentic takes them around the far turn. Tis the Laws making his move now, and they're into the stretch. These two stride for stride. Authentic, tis the Law. Here's the
Welcome back, Fontana Show, right here on Big Play. You can follow us on Twitter, X, at Matt Fontana Show. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're up on Twitch and Instagram, of course. Now, I'm going to jump back in the time machine because we got to talk Guardians prospects. We got to talk Guardians draft. And there's no better person to do that than Justin Ladden. Now, here's the thing. You know Justin from Locked On Guards, next year in CLE. I know Justin from Parma Area Community Television, and that gets a smile and a laugh. Was that 12 years ago, Justin, you and I doing high school hockey and baseball in 37 degrees out there in Parma?
I don't even know if I want to go back that far, man. That ages both of us. If we have to talk about.
We were doing it when we were 12.
Fine. Yeah. Oh man, those hockey games were a good time.
Those were a fun time. Oh my God, Tim, Ryan, it was the best. So I've known Justin a long time, and I'm telling you, when you hear smart baseball takes, I probably got them off of your Twitter, JL_baseball. He's a great baseball follow, but certainly if you're a Guardians fan, the prospects, the insight, second to none. So we got to talk draft. We got to talk everything baseball with Justin. So let's start at the top. I know you guys Locked On Guards. You guys have been the last couple days, the draft, your co-host, Jeff. It's his Christmas, so it's exciting. But Bazzana at 1, Justin, no shock. I mean, he was one of the few guys that were always up there. The odds-on favorite was there. Your thoughts on Bazzana? I'm getting Jose Ramirez comps, and I hate comps for drafts of any sport because it's like this guy hasn't played yet. What do you like about Bazzana, and why do you think he ended up being the pick for the Guardians?
He works incredibly hard. Yeah, you're not wrong on some of the Jose Ramirez comps. I mean, some of the things we heard from people was Kobe Bryant-like work ethic. Like, this guy eats, sleeps, breathes baseball. It is his religion, and he's incredibly talented too. This guy is from Australia. He could have easily signed a pro contract. Now, granted, he wouldn't have got a lot of money from it coming out of Australia, but he could have came in here as a teenager and already been in the system. But he chose to go to college, and he works on the right things. I mean, this guy had a great sophomore season. He was a good prospect, would have been a top 10, top 15 pick if he would have just rested on that. But he didn't rest on that. He was going to, at first he played at the Cape Cod League. He won the MVP. So he's got the wood bat track record, which is so important because metal bats and college baseball pitching this year was just a disaster. And then he went to Driveline in the offseason. He was driving 4 hours one way to work on improving, hitting the ball in the air, hitting more home runs. And it's not just a work ethic. He works on the right things. He's smart. He understands information, advanced analytics these days. You got a lot of information to process. He's so good at that. And he's just a ready-made guy. Like, I'm not going to say he's going to be in the majors this year or next year because nobody can guarantee that. But he is so close to being pro-ready at this point, and he's got the pro mindset. And he wants to win. That's the thing about Jose Ramirez and the comp there is that this guy wants to win, and he wants to be in Cleveland. These two were a match made in heaven from his work ethic and from what Cleveland expects from a pro baseball player.
It's the thing with the Guardians, Justin. It's always about position, right? And like you said, we still have to figure this guy out, and they've had great success moving obviously Tyler Freeman is a good example right now. Kipnis was an outfielder. They moved to second base. What do you think positionally for Bazzana one day? You think he sticks at second, eventually has the speed to go to the outfield?
He does have the speed to go to the outfield. I think he's got the athleticism. He should be there in the work ethic. I would never question anything this guy can do. Like I said, he just works incredibly hard, and he knows how to work on the right things. So if they decided they wanted to try him as an outfielder, I do have a lot of confidence that would work. I do think initially it'll go out as a second baseman, and they'll try to adjust. I wouldn't be surprised if he sticks as a second baseman, but if they decided to try that route, I think he can handle the outfield, at least left field. But I also wouldn't be surprised if center field worked out for him.
Justin Ladden joining us. You can follow him on Twitter, JL_baseball, Locked On Guards. Final thing, Justin, I sent a tweet. It was more about, that prospects take time. And when I said 3 years, everybody goes, you think he's going to be in the minors for 3 years? I never said that. I don't think he's going to be there. But people that are saying, they might call him up in September in 2 months. I go, you're also not, that's not happening. Just best timeline. More about not necessarily Bazzana, but what you have seen and your thoughts on a lot of these first-round picks with meteoric rises through the minors. Just kind of maybe best guess or your thoughts on top prospects making their way through the minors.
I think he could be up next year. I think that's realistic.
Okay,
I don't think this year's realistic. I mean, would it surprise me? It would be surprising. I mean, the Rangers almost added Wyatt Langford last year to the World Series roster. That's how close he was. And he ended up on the opening day roster this year. So nothing would surprise me, but I think next year's realistic. He's about as pro ready as it gets. And the gap between the minors and the majors, especially AAA and the majors right now, is so incredibly big, but I think he's ready. And I would not be surprised if next summer, we're watching him in Cleveland.
Some of the other picks, Justin, 36, Braylon Doherty, and I saw some clips, and I guess, I'm basically an expert, and I watched some YouTube on him. A little shorter guy, he's got a really good curveball. They go Cozart, the catcher, and then they just go pitcher, basically all day yesterday. Just your thoughts, cherry picking there, the rest of the draft picks, anybody that's standing out to you?
Yeah, all the prep pitchers, it's a big swing. So the Guardians had a lot of money to spend in this draft. They had the most money to spend. And, their senior VP of scouting, Paul Gillespie, said yesterday, this wasn't a planned thing to come in and take all these pitchers, especially prep pitchers, but it's the way the draft fell to them. And if you look at if you wanted to break up the strength of this draft class into tiers, it would be college hitters, prep pitchers, college pitching, high school hitting. So the high school hitting class was incredibly weak. The college hitting went really quickly on day one. And then you saw college pitching come off the board really early on day two, I should say. So they pivoted to prep pitching, and they were going with best guy on their board. And prep pitching is what costs the most money, and they had to spend that money. It's not like you can save that money for next year or anything else. So if you're going to invest those dollars, prep pitching, high-end prep pitching is the way to do it. They came in with 4 prep pitchers. I think that we're pretty much top 100 and top 110 prospects in this draft. Prep pitchers are incredibly risky. There's no guarantees. Cleveland has not done a good job developing them. But at the end of the day, you have to draft who's on the board, who's available to you. And if you're going to spend that money, you don't want to spend it in the wrong places. And could it be a big bust? Could those guys not work out? Sure. But those are the guys that have the chance to be the highest ceiling players. So that's where they spent the money, and it makes the most sense. You're going to try to get the best return you can on your investment.
Justin, I want to flip over to prospects we currently have and some that are up. I'm really a big fan of Angel Martinez. How could you not be with just everything that he's done? The strike zone really kind of I guess what's the word I'm looking for. He just draws the walks. He's got great command of the strike zone as a hitter, I should say, which I love. John Kenzie Noel is raking. We saw a little bit of Manzardo. Just kind of your state of the current prospects, some that are up, some that are kind of going back and forth with the Guardians.
Yeah, Martinez has been great, especially defensively. Yeah, he draws the walks. He's shown a little bit of power, which is really good. We'll see what happens when the league adjusts him. I think that Tampa Bay series, he was chasing out of the zone a little bit more, but he's been incredible in the outfield. And this is a guy who only started playing the outfield last year. They've done a good job with some of these guys that have moved to the outfield. I mean, Tyler Freeman's played a good defensive outfield. Now Martinez has. Noel's been a nice addition, a guy who can hit a home run off the bench, and you put him in the lineup, he might go 1 for 4 with a home run and 3 strikeouts. If pitchers, my big concern with Noel is if pitchers figure out you don't need to throw this guy a strike because he will chase everything out of the zone. If you make a mistake and throw it in the zone, he's going to hit it a long way, as we've seen 4 times already. That's a nice piece to have on this team. I still think they need a reliable 5th hitter in the trade market. Manzardo, I expect to be back up at some point this year, or, maybe he gets used as a trade chip. They've got Josh Naylor, you've got Ralphie Velasquez, you've got, if he's not a fit on this roster this year, I could see it. But they've done a nice job getting guys up, especially young hitters. And they've made the transition to the majors. Usually you see when they promote pitchers, they're very ready for the majors and not hitters. This year, for the most part, I know Manzardo struggled early, but a lot of hitters they brought up this year have jumped in and done a pretty nice job early on, which is nice to see.
Justin Latta joining us. Follow him on Twitter, JL_baseball. Locked On Guardians next year in the CLE and Prospects Live for all of Justin's great work. The next wave of prospects, guys that haven't come up. You mentioned Velasquez saw in the Futures game. Jason Torrio, which is so good. I'm a big Joey Cantillo fan. I watch Doug Nikhazy a lot. I'm excited to see him. But anybody on that next wave that hasn't made their Major League debut that you've really kept an eye on?
Juan Brito's having the best year in AAA, and he doesn't really have a defensive home. And it's complicated with their infield setup right now, but he's having a great year. You talk about another guy who can control the strike zone, doesn't chase out of the zone, has developed into some power. He's a switch hitter, doesn't run that well. And again, defense is an issue. So I don't know if there's a fit for him this year in the big league club. Again, not a guy that would surprise me if they traded him. I think he's got a great offensive upside. Like, we're talking a 20 home run guy who can get on base and hit for a decent average. Depends on where you want to find him and defensively. The pitching concerns me, and I'm like you. I've been a big fan of Joey Cantillo since they got him in that trade. Just can't throw strikes. The last outing he didn't walk a batter. But for him to be a viable option at the major league level, you've seen what they've done this year with issues with Allen and McKenzie. They're walking everybody, and they can't afford to have guys throwing 90 pitches in 4 innings and bringing the bullpen early. And Cantillo's got to figure that out. Nikhazy has had to figure that out as well. AA has had some good pitching this year. Brian Webb has taken off a little bit this year. Austin Peterson's become a good prospect. And then after that, it's Ralphie Velasquez, Jason Churio, Angel Hanau at Lake County. All those guys have had really good seasons. They're further away, but the hitting development this year has been fantastic. Alex Mooney, Cooper Engel, CJ Kafis at Akron could be a trade chip, or he could be a future first baseman. He's hit for power. They've developed hitters this year, which is nice to see. Hopefully they can figure out the pitching to catch back up where they used to be.
Final one. Always appreciate your time, Justin. You mentioned some of these pieces with the trades. I'm all about, I need something in here. If they want to do a bullpen arm to shorten these games, fine. I still want that starter. I know it might take a little bit more, and almost like losing the trade. We're so good about the Guardians always win these trades. I'm at a point with this team competing. I'm fine to lose the trade a little bit, maybe give up one more, not a top prospect, but just maybe one more to bring somebody in. Now, you mentioned some pieces. Just, Justin, where do you stand with the trade deadline? Do you think it's likely, certain position? And, the prospects, you mentioned quite a couple you think could be trade pieces.
Yeah, nobody really is off limits. I mean, I know people will say, oh, you can't trade Chase DeLauder. You can't trade this guy or that guy. Well, right now, Chase DeLauder has had foot issues. If you can go out and get a long-term hitter that can play the outfield, I wouldn't be opposed to moving Chase DeLauder. Depends on his value and how teams view his injury situation. But I'm with you. They need a starting pitcher. It's going to be a very heavy seller's market. I mean, go back to buying houses in the 2020 COVID market. That's what starting pitching is going to be like on this trade market. It's going to be scarce. It's going to be high prices. It's going to go quick as the deadline gets here. They do need a starting pitcher. I think they know that. I would not be surprised to see them be aggressive. Historically, if you look at when they've been in this position, they have been aggressive on the trade market. Even going back to 2011 with Ubaldo Jimenez, they traded 2 first-round pitchers to get him. I know that was a different time, and it didn't really work out until 2013 for them, but I wouldn't be surprised if they're aggressive at all. I'm with you. I think they need a bullpen arm. You've got Cade Smith and Hunter Gaddis and Tim Herron, all guys who have not pitched this deep into the season. You need someone out there that can kind of help them get through, and they just need to get to September healthy, let alone October. They need these guys to be healthy and rested coming into September to finish this thing off. And then, like I said, they need a fifth hitter. They need someone behind Josh Naylor. I don't think David Fry is a great story. He's an all-star. He's best utilized as a guy who can crush lefties, and you can put him anywhere. Maybe not playing every day, come off the bench against a lefty reliever. I think they need a guy who can hit behind Josh Naylor and make it so they can't pitch around Josh Naylor either. So they need 3 pieces, I think, at the trade deadline. And I think you're right. Go back and look at the Andrew Miller trade, the Jay Bruce trade, the Joe Smith trade in 2017 as well. None of those trades worked out poorly for them. Even the Ubaldo Jimenez trade. Drew Pomeranz had a decent career as a reliever. Alex White never really made it. They have not lost those trades. No. It's okay to trade the prospects. You can trade the prospects if it's going to help you win. And they have not traded anybody that really came back to burn them. Even the failed Jonathan Lucroy trade, all those prospects in that trade didn't burn them. Brad Hand didn't burn them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's the thing. They've always won those trades. That's an even more reason for me, Justin. It's okay if they, quote, lose a trade a little bit where it's something. I guess, Donaldson didn't work out all that well. That's fine. But there's just so much stacked up where I'm fine going to overpay for a little overpay for somebody to come in here right now for this team to make the push. Justin, I always appreciate you, man. Go follow him on Twitter at JL_baseball. Locked On Guardians. I'll let you get back to the draft. That is that marathon, and we'll have you again on soon, all right?
Appreciate it. We have to talk about the pack days a little bit more.
Oh, that's another podcast where I think off the air, Justin, for some of those stories. I appreciate you, bro. There is Justin Latta, and great. The interesting thing about Bazzana having to go to the outfield, people get so wrapped up in that, but he listed a lot of guys. What do you say after several prospects, right? He's like, yeah, that could be a trade piece. That could be a trade piece. I think it's going to be active for the Guardians coming up here as we're getting closer and closer, a couple weeks away from the trade deadline, waiting for the Guardians to do something. Going to be a lot of fun. So, again, check them out. JL_baseball for Justin. Locked On Guards. They do a great job over there. As they are, it was funny. I was listening to them, and Jeff Ellis is his co-host. And, bro, they're the draft is all day. The Major League Baseball draft is literally all day. So you're sitting there breaking down prospects. Not all of them sign, obviously. But it's quite the sprint. So I appreciate him joining us. Give a little insight there on the Guardians. All right, let's catch our break. We come back. Morning update. We've got off-ball linebacker rankings. Where did Jeremiah Usu-Kora come in at? Trendy Super Bowl picks for this season. We'll get to the grid, time up, and get you ready to go for the All-Star game tonight with our wagers on that. It's Fontana Show right here on Big Play.
Well, how do they know I'm doing this? Did somebody leak this out?
It's social media.
Oh.
That's the way social media works now.
I thought maybe you were just running that yap.
Big Play, a sports media team that started back in 2014, and now we're not in a garage. Look at us, incorporating some of Cleveland's favorite sports personalities, bringing you fun and compelling content from downtown Cleveland. Coming to you live from the shores of Lake Erie and Burke Lakefront Airport, join Team Big Play for all the best sports talk in Ohio. Check us out on social media at Big Play, bringing you fun and compelling content from downtown Cleveland.
Anthony Schlegel, just how physical he was. You saw the girth and the power and everything he was bringing to the table, especially when he was a nice beefy 255 playing middle linebacker.
We were called soft last year. You don't want to be soft, especially when you come to the playoffs. So that's going to be a process throughout this season of establishing us as a harder team here in the
I don't buy into this nonsense, this conspiracy nonsense that he's got his money and he's dogging it. That's ridiculous.
They're off in the Kentucky Derby as Authentic takes them around the far turn. Tis the Laws making his move now, and they're into the stretch. These two stride for stride. Authentic, tis the Law. Here's the wire. Authentic has won the Kentucky
All right, back here, Fontana Show. Drops follow, Twitter, Instagram. You can retweet for a chance to win a copy of EA College Football 25. Twitch, YouTube, Instagram, it's all there. Plenty to come here in hour two. Ryan's got the stories here for the morning update. What do you got, Ryan?
Alrighty, well, the MLB Home Run Derby was last night, and Jose Ramirez, of course, was a participant. He mashed 21 home runs, tied the lead for the first round to advance to the semifinals. However, that will be all she wrote as he bows out against Bobby Witt Jr., who would go on to lose in the finals to Teoscar Hernandez, who becomes the first LA Dodger to win the Home Run Derby.
Format. I know you didn't watch, but like the format of the time while still getting 40 pitches in more often, and I think it changed later, and then they would do the bonus round. So here's how it went. You had 3 minutes and 40 pitches with one timeout. And watching it, rarely did they not use all 40 pitches. And it was pretty good where most of the guys were hitting their 40th pitch with like 3 seconds to go. It's not like they wasted a lot of time. Then they would go to the bonus round, which was old school. It's either a home run or an out. And you had 3 outs. You could get a fourth if you hit one 425 or more. I like the format. I really like the format. Too. The issue is you watch the bonus round and you wish we just went back to you get 10 outs, right? And if it's not a home run, it's an out. Like, let's just do that. Now, the other thing, and somebody tweeted this that I saw, and they go, it felt like 2 hours since Alec Boehm had hit, right?
Yeah,
because he went first, then he had to wait, and then he was in the second semifinal. Like, there was just, and they got to, dude, they're getting commercials in the timeout. They have a 30-second timeout. You know they were going to get that Taco Bell commercial in there. It's a production. It's going to be a couple hours. Deal with it. I'd like to go back to 10 outs. It's either a home run or an out, and you get 10 outs. Damn the pitches and damn the clock. Because what they wanted with the clock was what they ended up taking away. They wanted guys getting up there going, whoom, and whoom, whoom, hitting, trying to go as quick as they could as time was running out. They wanted a ball in the air as time expired, and if it goes out, then you advance. That's what they were searching for. They ended up getting rid of it anyway with the bonus round. Just go back to what it is.
Dude, I
Sometimes
had a problem.
Changes are not good.
Who were the announcers? It was like
So
was it
Eduardo
Peyton-
Perez,
was it-
former Cleveland Indian, and
Wh-
then you want Chris Berman back.
whichever one it was.
We all
like if you played the drinking game and you would have been blacked out.
Damn it!
The amount of times that the one dude, and I forget which one it was, the amount of times the one dude said that Jose Ramirez was unable to hit it 425 feet to get the bonus, he wouldn't stop talking about it. That's all he said.
Well, and so the one you were talking about was Eduardo Perez.
It was unbelievable.
And
every sentence out of his mouth about Jose Ramirez was, yes, but he can't get the bonus ball. And he didn't even know the format. He kept saying in the regular round.
Corrected him the one time, and they're like,
listen to that.
Eduardo,
He's like,
it doesn't matter
he's
until
like,
the bonus
no,
round.
Yeah. I was like, dude, come on.
You did. The thing is, it's kind of actually a boring thing. Where they're just sitting there like, oh, that one might get. Nope, it didn't get out. Oh, that one. Nope, that one didn't get out.
Every single home run. Oh, that one will do it.
That's why you
20
need
feet
Chris
short.
Berman. Back. Like, that's why you need somebody with some flair and some height to do it. And I know, like, Berman's done with ESPN, isn't he? Bring him back for that. Like, and I know the All-Star game is on Fox tonight.
Yeah.
And that's Verducci and all that. So it was Todd Frazier, Eduardo Perez, and I tell you, man, I don't even know who is the play-by-play guy.
Wait, Todd Frazier?
Yeah, like the former player Todd Frazier.
He was there?
Yeah,
I didn't know.
yeah.
He won the Derby.
Yeah. Carl Ravitch? I think it was Carl Ravitch. And here's the thing. You are replacing a legend. Let's call that for what it is. Chris Berman on the home run derby is legend for the back. Like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? So, you're going to bring up the national anthem?
I wasn't, but we can talk about it.
That poor girl, man.
I know.
And I guess she's some Grammy Award-winning artist or something like that.
It was like she was singing it in cursive.
Dude. And I have no musical talent. I sing in my car not well. And I know that sometimes, like, in the media, there are people, you know, like, I've had friends, like, Hayden Grove's a singer. Hayden sings. Like, when he goes to the Captains or the Rubber Ducks to sing, that's fine.
It almost seemed intentionally that bad.
I would never do it. Never. First off, I'm bad. And second, if you do great, you'll never be Whitney Houston. That is probably the greatest rendition of the national anthem that most anybody will ever hear. As much as you think you're going to get there, you're more likely going Fergie, Carl Lewis. It's going to be his. And people remember you more for it being bad than being good. The other thing
that
about
poor girl, imagine checking your phone right after.
That's what I'm saying, man. And I feel bad because I think people legitimately feel bad for her and they don't want to make fun of her, but we're in a TikTok social media age and people are just going to rip on it. Like, no. If somebody came to me, hey, Matt, we'd love you to. No, I'm good. Pat, no, thank you. I appreciate the offer. In no way ever will I sing the national anthem at any event. I don't want to do it. I screwed up. Then it is about. Is it not supposed to be about the song? Is it not supposed to be about honoring America? And I get we have a lot of problems. We got to work on it, but we're still a good country. I still hope and pray for our country, right?
Someone tweeted out the picture of Trump with his ear bleeding and said, me after listening to that anthem.
We live in a world where our former president, whether you voted for him or not, I don't care, was nearly assassinated. And it's mean.
World we live in, man.
It's mean.
It's a world that I enjoy living in.
I sent a video yesterday. Maybe I'm not proud of it, but I think it's funny. And it's the video of him when he, when the secret, and it goes, my boy's trying to pull me out of the bar when Creed comes on. It's like, arms wide open. Like he nearly, somebody did get killed.
Yeah. 2
people, the shooter.
Yeah.
And they were shooting at Trump. And it's been memed and gift. That's the world that we live in today.
Yeah, it is.
That's where it is.
It is.
That poor girl, that sucks. You don't want to be on that stage and do that. But also, like, how many of them think this is the launch to my career? She's probably got some agent that goes, hey, I got you the home run derby, like national anthem thing. Like, this is really going to help your album and your career and all that kind of stuff. And your career's over. Yeah. Anybody buying that album? No. How's that go? Yeah, that's and like, you know, the song, it is a great question about why we still do it. I get it's America, we're playing on American soil, but there's a lot of international players or, you know, whatever. They still do it, but this song is, okay, old guy, get off my lawn. It's like when they make it about themselves instead of the song, that kind of, like, they always just have this giant, like, laid out thing. It's like, just sing the song. Just sing the song, be done with it. But you will never, ever catch me doing that. Never. It could be the big play charity softball game. It could be our golf outing. No. Could you imagine me standing up there at Little Mountain?
No, I couldn't.
With a mic and going,
I don't really want to.
No. I don't want to do it. I ain't going to do it. Ryan will do it, though. Write that down.
Alrighty, well, Cleveland Brown got paid yesterday, Matt, and many would have thought it might be Amari Cooper, but no, it was in fact Dustin Hopkins, but also very well deserved. They reached a 3-year, $15.9 million extension. This comes off the heels of a year where Hopkins made a franchise record 33 of 36 field goal attempts, including a career long of 58, and he also set the record for 5 consecutive games in which he made a field goal of at least 50 yards.
You need somebody that knows that stadium, and you've searched for it. You think you have found it. I say this not in a negative way. What we need to is ascend to a level. He's going to miss a kick, and that's going to be okay. He might even miss a game-winning kick. But if you want to get to the level of the Justin Tuckers of the world, even the Evan McPhersons, you know, you look around the rest of the AFC North, and they all have a solid kicker, right? You want to get to that, but a lot of kicking is just you find a guy on the upswing and you find a guy that's just hot right now. I think you found a guy in Dustin Hopkins that, like any kicker, been cut, been thrown around a little bit. He gets back in the game here, and he's found a place that he feels comfortable. What I need is him in December lining up for a 48-yarder, going into the dog pound, wind and snow flurries flying, and he goes, I got this. It might not go right, and he's going to miss kicks. Fine. But it's just that confidence. Like, Ryan, I don't want to have to do that show on that Monday after that he misses and go, man, do we really need to think about cutting this kicker? Or, man, I wish we had a kicker. I think we have now gotten to the point now we all feel good about Dustin Hopkins kicking, so we don't have to have conversations about it anymore. You know, I sent a tweet out this morning. Who's your favorite specialist of all time outside of Phil? By the way, I didn't include Josh in that. I meant kickers and because Josh was a player.
I think I knew what you meant.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Ryan Pomprion, Chris Gardocki, Tom Tupa. Derek says there's only one answer, and it's the single bar Scott Player. You know Scott Player was the last player to be grandfathered into the single bar face mask?
No.
You never see him? He had a blonde handlebar mustache.
Nice.
And a single bar that was down to his chin. So if you ran into him as a player, your face mask was going into his nose. You were rearranging his face if it happened to catch him. That's old school football right there. I said Dave Zassidle, Ryan Pomprion, Charlie Hewlett, all that. But you just want to get to the point with the kicker. You don't have to worry about it anymore. You want to get back to that. And I think we're getting there with Hopkins. The team feels like they've seen enough. Great. But again, people always say you're only as good as your next kick. I'm fine with Dustin Hopkins. Good for him on the deal. And only $5 a year. He's a top 5 paid kicker. Isn't that crazy?
Yes. Alrighty, well, news broke this weekend. The NBA announced they signed a new $74.6 billion media deal in national television and streaming package. However, New York Knicks owner James Dolan said he has some problems with this, Matt. Quote, the NBA has made the move to an NFL model. Soon, your only revenue concern will be the sales of tickets and what color next year's jerseys will be. Don't worry, because due to revenue pooling, you are guaranteed to be neither a success nor a failure. He goes on, of course, to get there, the league must take down the successful franchises and redistribute to the less successful. This new media deal goes a long way accomplishing that goal.
That's you talk about revenue. That's exactly what we're talking about. Now, it's funny that he's coming as the Knicks owner who's got a lot of money and they don't worry about it. Like the Portland Trail Blazers need some revenue sharing here, okay? You know, And I think it's interesting that the Cavs have like one of the richest owners in basketball, so it's a small market team per se, but you don't have the money problems. Yeah, when you sign that deal, you would like to believe that everybody gets an equal piece of that pie, but the same thing. The Celtics are going to be on national television ad nauseum. They probably deserve a little bit more. We're going to have the Dallas Mavericks shoved down our throat every single night. They probably deserve a bigger piece than the Chicago Bulls. The Detroit Pistons are not going to be on national TV. But the other thing that does, that incentivizes and pushes these teams to keep improving your squad to get back up there. You want that money. You want to be back up there. Help the NBA. The NBA would love it that they have 8, 10, 12 teams that they can rotate through these national games and people want to watch for the star power, for the playoff importance, this new in-season tournament, which they're all jacked about. That's what it's all about. Now, the one thing that I tried to find that I couldn't is what the layout, and you know what I'm talking about, we discussed it. Like, Mondays are going to be on, like, I'm completely screwing this up, but it's something like this. Like, Mondays are on Peacock. Tuesdays are on ESPN. Wednesdays are back on Peacock. Thursdays are on, like, there's, like, a format, literally. Like, Amazon Prime is going to be these days where you're going to have a national game every night. You know, we grew up that it was, Thursday nights, Saturday nights, you tune in to watch a game. Now that NBC is back in the fold, it's basically every night. It's just what network to tune into. It's a rotation of ESPN, NBC, and not this season. Obviously, this is the final go-around, for TNT, which just sucks, man. I'm so sad about that. But we get the national. You got to buy all the streaming platforms. You got to be paid up for all that crap. I mean, it is what it is.
Alrighty, Matt. Well, yesterday's show, we talked about ESPN doing an article where they revealed their top 100 athletes of this century since 2000. Well, today they released 50 through 75. Matt, stop me when you hear something interesting, all right? 74, Lisa Leslie, Mookie Betts, Shaun White, Manny Pacquiao.
I thought Shaun White would be higher.
I did too.
I thought he'd be higher. A lot of gold medals skating and snowboarding, but okay.
Excuse my pronunciation. Andres Iniesta, soccer.
Okay.
Jason Kidd. Phil Mickelson came in at 68.
Yeah, that's about right.
James Harden, 67.
Yeah, okay.
John Jones, 66.
Yeah, he will not be the last MMA fighter. I thought he might crack the top 50, but that's fair. Oh, wait, he's back in trouble again.
Well, what did he do? I didn't see it.
He's got 2 misdemeanors. They don't say why. All they say it's involved with a drug testing agent.
Oh, sounds about
So
right.
I would have to imagine it's assault, that the drug testing person showed up at his house and they got into an argument. Wow.
Shocking.
I just for the love of God, let him fight Stipe this fall. I'm going to put a sizable wager on Stipe to win, and then John Jones can just go away. He can just go away forever. Please, I just need this Stipe fight. It's supposed to be November 9th, but for the love of God, please get it done.
All right, you're 65. Kylian Mbappe, 64. Mia Hamm, 63. Allison Felix. Shohei Ohtani comes in at 62.
Okay.
Ray Lewis, 61.
Yeah.
Candace Parker, 60. Mariano Rivera, J.J. Watt, Calvin Johnson.
Thought he'd be higher. Yeah.
Alexia Putellas.
Okay.
Luka Modric.
Okay.
Almost like Luka Doncic.
Soccer.
Alex Ovechkin, of course.
Yeah.
Derek Jeter, number 53.
Yeah.
Adrian Beltre, 52.
Wow.
And rounding out this group at 51, Steve Nash.
These are best, right? It's not impactful. It's not money made.
Right.
It's the best.
I believe it's most accomplished.
Or most accomplished. Okay. So, yeah, championships, defensive player of the years for J.J. Watt. I thought J.J. Watt would be a little bit. Now, Aaron Donald, who, by the way,
Facts.
was on.
It was.
Come get some last night.
3-time defensive player of the year.
He should probably be higher than J.J. Watt, then, you would have to think.
I would argue Aaron Donald's the best defensive player ever.
Not much argument against it.
8
I can
Pro
understand
Bowls,
that.
Or excuse me, 8
first-time.
first-team All-Pro.
That's insane.
3 defensive player of the years, and he got his ring.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, he would probably be up there. Now the interesting thing is 50, because I heard a lot of names that I'm like, ooh. Now I think obviously the top 50 will be stacked, but I appreciate you bringing that up. I think it's a lot of fun. We'll run through that as it goes on.
Absolutely. Well, do you want to run through something?
The linebackers? I got the linebacker list. What?
Oh, are we not doing grid?
Oh, no, we're doing the grid. I just have 1,000 other things.
Oh, well,
all right, let's do this. Let's do the grid. We'll do time hop. After that, I've got the off-ball linebacker rankings.
I mean, we can skip grid today. We
got to keep hot on the grid. We got to keep the grid going.
All right.
Because we got to stay in the game of the grid for when it matters. And also, do you know how much money EA Sports made in one day of college football being released?
I'm sure a buttload.
They have a minimum of what they made. Most likely more, but I've got a minimum. We'll get to that a little bit later. Here we go. A lot of teams that screw us, man. The Cardinals always screw us. The Falcons always screw us. And the freaking Commanders. All right.
Speaking of Pro Bowls.
Go.
All right, Pro Bowl. Oh, we just go Larry Fitz.
Well, I'm assuming it's with that team. Larry Fitz. Ryan Kerrigan. Josh Jacobs. Right?
Yeah, 100%. Okay. He led the league in rushing on here.
Just making sure. All right.
Falcons, Cardinals.
Oh, I thought you were clicking on it like you had something.
Oh, no.
Oh, well, obviously, Texans, Cardinals. Justin James Watt.
Why do you know all the Watt brothers' real names?
Don't know. Trent James, Justin James, and Derek.
Interesting.
Which it's weird that he doesn't go by DJ.
Yeah, that is
you know, they all do, but
DJ, JJ,
I don't know.
God, I hate Washington.
I know. For some reason, I wanted to rip Tyrod Taylor there, but I don't think he played in Washington. RG3 never went to Houston. Pierre Garçon never went to Houston. Who was that tight end that ran really fast? Vernon Davis. Did he ever go to Houston? No. No, that's not who I'm thinking of. Who was the tight end that was like a freak of nature that got drafted by Washington? Was it Vernon Davis?
Vernon Davis was in Washington at one point, and he was with the 49ers.
That's what it was. I think he might have gotten drafted by the... Remember him? He ran like a 4.4 at like 6'4", 260 or something, just like the ultimate freak of nature. Was that Vernon Davis? Is that what I'm thinking of? I don't know. We'll have to look that up later. We'll run out of time. I got a really weird one for the Raiders-Texans.
Okay.
Does Denzel Perryman work there? Linebacker. I'm intrigued that it might be Denzel Perryman. We can hold off on that. Andre Johnson, didn't he finish his career out? Oh, he went to Tennessee, didn't he? Or he went somewhere, but I don't think he went to the Raiders.
Dallas?
Maybe.
All right, we got to get cooking.
I know. Quarterbacks, Ryan Mallett, I don't think works for any of those. I already mentioned Tyrod Taylor.
Did Michael Turner go anywhere else?
I don't think so. There's a Falcons-Cardinals one that's like really annoying me right now. It's not Dion, is it? No.
Dion played for Washington.
Did he?
Yeah.
All right, go rip that then.
Right?
It sounds right. Rip it. All right, nice job. Nice. 47%.
Yeah, good job.
Good job. Yeah, everybody knew that, you morons. All right, Falcons Raiders. Oh, Marcus Mariota.
Yes.
%47. There you go. Falcons Cards. I don't think Matt Schaub works. Colt McCoy never played in Atlanta. Carson Palmer, I don't think so. Cordell Patterson, don't think so. Patrick Peterson, no.
I think I said this before, but where did Andy Isabella go?
Don't remember.
Damn.
Don't remember. Kenyon Drake, I don't think ever was in Atlanta. Kurt Warner, I don't think so. Oh, my God.
Roddy White? No.
No.
Zacchaeus Olamide?
Pull there for you.
What about defensive guys?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to think. We always get screwed up on that. All right, you want to flip back over to Houston? Do you want to rip Denzel Perryman just to see if we can get that off the board? I actually think it works.
Really?
Raiders, Texans.
I don't know how you pulled that.
I'd be shocked. Like,
you think?
Yeah, I do. Yeah!
Wow.
Yes!
That's crazy.
I knew it.
That's a crazy.
I knew it. I had a really good feeling about that.
That's a crazy pull.
Hell yeah. Let's go. Let's go. All right, come on. We got to fit it. We got to do this. Come on. I pulled Denzel Perryman out on you guys today. Come on now. All right.
Philip Lindsay, no.
No. Owen Daniels, the tight end. I don't think he ever went to Washington.
Jordan Akins.
Gotta be a quarterback.
No.
There's gotta be a quarterback.
Ryan Mallett.
I don't think so.
Matt Schaub.
RG3 didn't go there. Alex Smith, obviously no.
Colt McCoy.
I don't know.
Oh, wait, he doesn't even work for. I'm tripping.
What do you mean?
I was thinking of the Cardinals.
He would work for the Cardinals. Yeah, he'd work for Cardinals, but not the Texans. I get what you're saying. Jacoby Brissett. Did Jacoby play in Houston? No.
No.
Actually, he might have worked for Houston. Oh no, he wouldn't have. I'm sorry.
Dude,
I know this is really hard. Adrian Peterson.
I mean, Daniel Hunter. Well, he didn't even play there yet.
No, not yet.
Like Laramie Tunsil, no.
No.
About kickers. Bear Baron, no.
I mean, we always bring up Joey Slye, and I think I think
Fat
he
Randy.
kicked for Washington. Fat Randy's just your go-to, and I don't think he works in any of these, to be honest with you.
All right, maybe flip back to Cardinals.
Cardinals, Falcons, Cardinals.
Christian Kirk, no.
No.
Greg
Trying to
Dortch.
go back to that Cardinals.
Greg Dortch? No, maybe.
I mean, I know he played in Arizona.
Yeah.
I don't know if he played in
They might have drafted him.
yeah, in Atlanta. I have no idea. Trying to go back to that Super Bowl team. Larry Fitz and crew. James Harrison, he never played in Atlanta, though. There's also, I guarantee you, some like legacy player that we're missing on this thing, too.
Deshaun Jackson, he didn't play for the Texans, did he?
No, I don't think so. No. Brandon Cooks did, but he didn't play in Washington.
Man.
Yeah, that's tough. I said, I go, Washington always screws us up.
Mm-hmm.
They always screw us up. We're near time. 1 minute.
What about that Hargrave dude?
Javon Hargrave.
Did he play in Washington?
No. Did he start in Washington?
Man, I don't know.
No, I don't think so. Chase Young, no. Yeah, Javon Hargrave's with the 49ers. He started in Pittsburgh, then went to the Eagles. Then
Did
the
Pierre
49ers.
Garcon ever play for the Texans?
I don't think so. I brought him up. I don't think so. Yeah, what we're lacking here is the quarterbacks. That's the issue, is that there are quarterback turnovers here. But
you think for the Falcons Cardinals?
Oh, there's got to be. There's got to be a quarterback that
Mike Vick, no, he didn't play for Arizona.
No. Like time.
Just give up.
Yeah.
Calais Campbell.
That's the Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Is there anything you want to see?
Oh my God.
Is there anything you want to see?
No.
Yeah. Screw it.
When you miss Ryan Fitzpatrick, just a bad day. Just a bad day on the grid. All right, catch our final break. When we come back, we got Time Hop, busy day on the movies again today. We will get into a little bit of the linebacker rankings, and I'm going to tell you how much money on the minimum that EA Sports made in day one of college football coming out. We'll remind you our giveaway, and we will get our bids in, or our bets in, I should say, for the All-Star game tonight. It's all coming up.
Do we have time for all that?
What's that?
Do we have time for all that?
I mean, do you just want to go right into Time Hop and screw the break? It's 3 minutes. That'll help us. Just do it. Just do Time Hop. Let's just go. We got a lot. Let's do it. We had a lot of movies, too, so that's why you're probably right.
All right.
All right. Stream Xbox games, no console required? Amazon has started selling a Game Pass Ultimate Fire TV Stick bundle with an Xbox controller. A no console required during Prime Day.
Don't buy it.
Hold on.
Oh, you could play college football.
Receive 1 month of Xbox Game Pass. Okay, fine, whatever. The only streaming media player with the Xbox app. You can do it via cloud gaming. Huh. I don't know. I don't know if I don't know if I buy this. Is this legit? Is EA Sports on the Xbox Game Pass, though? Is it on there? Is it ready to go? I don't know. Sorry, I just saw that. You know me. Let's get into it. Let's get in a little bit of time up. I'll tell you what happened this day, the 16th of July. Including 1 year ago today, Tennessee Titans signed DeAndre Hopkins to a 2-year, $26 million deal. He was hot and heavy in Cleveland. I worked with a lot of people and heard from a lot of fans that wanted DeAndre Hopkins here. Not for 2 and 26, but that's what he got 1 year ago from the Titans. 3 years ago today, Kevin Love withdrew from Team USA basketball. Remember, he was just cooked. He had the calf injury. Nobody really wanted him on that team, but he withdrew for Team USA this day, 2021. This day, 1995, the Indians beat the A's 5-4 in 12 innings. Carlos Baerga had 5 hits in the game. The reason I bring it up, that on July 16th, 1995, the Indians had an AL Central lead of 14 and a half games. Of course, would go to the World Series that year, but 14 and a half this day, 1995. Also this day, 1995, if only we knew to go back, a little business first launched as their book website. They ended their first month, brought in about $2,800 a day. What company was that, Ryan?
Say that one more time.
A business opened this day, 1995, as an online book website.
Oh, Amazon.
They brought in, they ended their first month making $2,800 a day. They now bring in almost $1 billion per day on Amazon. If only we would have known. If only we would have known. This day, 1969, Apollo 11 departed the Earth for the first U.S. lunar landing mission. The astronauts took half-ripped $1 bills. So when they came back, they could confirm that they were the same people that left. So imagine, like, you and I are getting in the capsule. They don't want us to, like, they want to make sure that it's us coming back. They brought ripped dollar bills. Yeah.
It's like
Interstellar?
No. Oh my God. Captain Marvel.
Oh, yeah. Go out there and do something and come on back, but they did. This day, 1969. This day, 1945, the first ever atomic bomb test was happening in New Mexico.
Did you watch Oppenheimer yet?
No.
Oh my God.
It's on the list. So we're knee-deep in True Detective and House right now.
It's on Peacock.
I do have Peacock. Gotta watch it. So it'll be on the list. We'll get there. I mentioned an important day for Batman. This day, 1943. Columbia Pictures released the first of their 15 serials of The Batman, featuring Lewis Wilson starring. So the serials were like, imagine you go to a theater and you just sit down to watch episode 1 of a bunch of different things. Or actually, these might have been the ones that played before the movie. And you had to watch 15 of them. You had to go to the theater to watch them. First one released this day, 1943. Very important day in baseball history. And it happened right here in the city of Cleveland, right over there at League Park. Joe DiMaggio goes 3 for 4, extending his hitting streak to 56 games at League Park versus the Indians. That record will never be touched.
Nice.
Never be touched.
Was he the one messing with Marilyn Monroe?
Yes.
Marilyn Monroe?
Yes, Joe DiMaggio. He claims that he was that was the love of his life. Was Marilyn Manson.
Marilyn Manson.
It tells you the generation that I'm in. Marilyn Monroe. Marilyn Monroe.
That's like me saying Schembechler when I was...
Yeah, or McElroy. That's your other thing, too. According to her autobiography, Monroe never actually wanted to meet Joe DiMaggio, fearing that he was a stereotypical arrogant athlete. They met in L.A. on a blind date. They dated for 2 years and then eloped in 1954. She suffered, unfortunately, from something that kept her from having children, even though they had a desire to start a family.
You know why she got killed, right?
JFK.
Because she was going to release stuff about UFOs.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, did not know that. The union was troubled by the start from DiMaggio's jealousy, controlling attitude, and allegedly physically abusing Monroe, as well as her busy life as an actress. She was devastated. Okay, they only were married for 9 months, from January 1954 to October of 1954. Monroe filed for divorce from DiMaggio. She was devastated. She could be seen weeping openly in court. She wrote, DiMaggio was also devastated, writing to her, "I love you and I want to be with you. There's nothing I would like better than to restore your confidence in me. My heart split even wider seeing you cry in front of all those people." He had to stop drinking alcohol. He went to therapy, but it didn't work. DiMaggio then actually moved on to Lee Merriweather, who played Catwoman in the original Batman. And they were very close to being married as well. They were engaged. They moved on. She got married to Arthur Miller. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's pretty much it. Then, of course, JFK. All that kind of stuff. Well, do you know that's why Marilyn Manson picked his name? It was Marilyn Monroe and Charles Manson. That's how he came out with Marilyn Manson. There you go. Very happy birthday goes out to Hall of Fame football coach Jimmy Johnson, Barry Sanders, former Cavalier Chris Mim, Timofey Mozgov, Paris Campbell, Demetric Felton, Carly Lloyd, soccer legend, Shoeless Joe Jackson, Corey Feldman, Orville Redenbacher. I haven't had popcorn in forever. And the great Mr. Will Ferrell. Best Will Ferrell character, go.
Oh, God. You can't just put me on the spot.
Anchorman,
like
Ricky Bobby, Chaz from Wedding
people are
Crashers,
obsessed with
Elf. He's made so much money off of Elf.
Yeah.
He turned down the sequel.
Good.
Good, yes. Keep it that way.
Maybe Ricky Bobby.
I think Anchorman, probably. Although, he doesn't look like Will Ferrell as Anchorman. You know, like Ricky Bobby looks like Will Ferrell. But, yes, they're all great. 4:40 today on the movies. They're all movies today, I'll tell you that. They're all movies to start. All right, well, we go back to a film. This day, 2010. We have brought it up as a heist movie before, and it'll probably make our heist bracket.
The Town?
No, good guess, and I love The Town. And I think also came out in 2010. This movie's not necessarily the traditional heist movie, though. I started just, like, tilting over.
What?
I started tilting over. Walking on the walls and stuff like that.
It's about The Matrix?
No.
Walking on the walls?
No. A professional thief who steals information by infiltrating the subconscious of its targets.
Oh.
Inception.
Yeah.
Yeah, Inception.
Walking
What
on,
a cast. Don't they do that? Doesn't it flip when Joseph Gordon-Levitt's walking through one?
Maybe. I mean, it's been a minute since I've seen them.
That's probably a bad clue. I don't want to lay it up for you, but Inception is correct. All right, next up, this day, 1999. I would be very impressed if you got this movie.
Okay.
This is a thriller horror movie surrounding a large animal that infiltrates a lake in Maine. And the group of people that try to remove it from said lake.
Is it like the Black Lagoon thing?
No, good guess, and I love The Creature from the Black Lagoon, but no, 1999. No remake of that. I don't know if I'd given you the animal would help. It's a large crocodile.
Right.
It's a crocodile. It's stuck in a lake in Maine. Oliver Platt, Bridget Fonda, Bill Pullman.
I don't think I'm going to get it.
In a movie called Lake Placid. Ever heard of it?
I've heard of Lake Placid, not the movie.
That's right. Like, there's an actual lake, but they called it Lake Placid, where there's just this ungodly big crocodile. Then, you want to know, like, you know how these sci-fi movies, they just, like, they make one, and then it's successful. They just jump the shark. Bro, I think there's like 7 different versions of Lake Placid. I'm not even kidding you. And including one that I know, they cross over with Anaconda. So it's like Lake Placid versus Anaconda in some way like that. The movie grossed $60 million. It's followed by 5 low-budget, made-for-TV sequels in the Lake Placid film series. Starts with Lake Placid, then Lake Placid 2, then Lake Placid 3, then Lake Placid, the final chapter, which is always the shit name that you give to one of these movies made for television, the final chapter. Then it gets into Lake Placid versus Anaconda, and then Lake Placid Legacy are all the movies that came out after Lake Placid, the original one. I can only do the one. The one is fine. I love the first one. After that, don't need any more Lake Placids. All right, 2 movies that were both released this day, 1993.
Okay.
We start. Another animal-related movie. That was a big movie of my childhood. And in fact, really spurred me to become a marine biologist when I was a kid. That's what I wanted to be because I watched this movie a lot.
Free Willy?
That is correct.
Let's go.
That is correct.
Let's go.
Again, spawned a lot of bad direct-to-TV sequels that were crap. First one's not. There's a documentary of them trying to release the whale back into the... Because, like, they made that movie, and then everybody goes, well, this is terrible. Yeah. And they go, yeah. And it only then took them, what? Another 30 years for us to actually outline. Now, here's the sad part. I loved going to SeaWorld. Like, you don't even remember Geauga Lake when it was SeaWorld, right?
No.
So Geauga Lake was Geauga Lake. Then it flipped to Six Flags. Bro, we had a SeaWorld here. Like, you hear SeaWorld Texas and in California. There was one in, was that Bainbridge or Aurora, Ohio. And you would go, and they had the whales, and they had the dolphins. Now, me as a kid, I'm like, this is the greatest day of my life. And I'll never forget this, too. You know, walking through as a kid, they're selling those giant inflatable killer whales for the pool. And I was like, ah! They were like, my parents were like, we are not, they were $60.
Yeah, that's outrageous.
And my parents were like, we are not buying that for you. They're like, we'll get you one, right? Like
$60?
But what they were saying was, we're just not going to buy it here. Like, we will buy you one at Mark's, or we'll go to Target or something.
I mean, $60 when you were a kid, that's what now? Like $500?
Okay, it's not that bad, but like, it was insane. Bro, they had to drag me out of SeaWorld crying. The other thing, my parents, mistake on their part, I'm sorry to say. You remember disposable cameras?
Yeah.
So my parents bought one as their family of 7. My parents and their 5 boys. And my uncle came, and it was supposed to be a great day with the family. They gave me the disposable camera. There's only 24 pictures on the disposable camera. My parents got it developed. There was not one of my family. Because they gave it to me at the whale show. And I'm just sitting there like,
yeah, that's on
This is great. I go, this is great. Every single picture. And it was bad pictures. Like the whale was out of frame because it was swimming past or whatever. I was obsessed with Free Willy when I was a kid. And I wanted to be a marine biologist. I would do my school projects on whales, and I probably have a weirdly amount of working knowledge about killer whales.
Interesting.
Yeah. Do you know that you ever see the gray patch right behind their dorsal fin?
No, but okay.
It's called the saddle patch. Okay. That is as individual to a whale as a fingerprint is to a human being.
Interesting.
There you go. Their eye shapes, and obviously the white part is not actually their eye, but the shape of that, there's actually 5 different subspecies of killer whales. Some live in the tropics, some live up in the, in the cold area, and they all have different eye patches to tell you what kind of, there's transient and there's residential killer whales.
The more you know.
The more you know. Free Willy. And then what I was going to get to, there's a documentary, you can go watch it on YouTube. It's like, I don't know, 45 minutes long. They try to get that poor whale out and back.
Didn't work out.
Did not work. So they got him out of wherever he was at. I think he was in Mexico. They flew him up to Seattle for millions of dollars and put him in this. I've never seen a tank of water this big in my life. It was ungodly huge. And they put him in there to try to retrain him how to eat and find fish and all that other kind, because he'd been hand fed his whole life. So then eventually, and then he got sick, and the big part of the documentary is them flying him, and then they break down on the tarmac, and they're stuck on the tarmac because this giant shipping container they put this whale in fell off the track.
Oh, God.
Then they rehabilitate him enough. They take him to, I think, Norway or something to release him back in the wild. The poor thing, all it did was just follow humans. Oh. They put him out there. They tried to get him back into a pod of whales they thought was his family. He'd see ships of people. He'd come right up to him, asking for food. And he died. He eventually died.
That's so
sad. He got sick. I know, it sucks. So, you watch that movie now as an adult, or one of my favorite movies as a kid, and I go,
I would have fed him.
That's the problem, is that people fed him. So he never went out and ate his own. So the more you know on Free Willy. I didn't know we were going to go there today, but we did. All right, final one. A Halloween movie released this day, 1993. It is a Halloween staple in the Fontana household, and I think for a lot of people. There was a remake a couple of years ago. Not very good. It's surrounding 3 witch sisters.
Oh, Bewitched.
No. Movie. I know there's a Bewitched movie, but that's not it. 3 witch sisters brought back on a Halloween night. The Black Flame Candle.
Yeah, we've talked about this.
The Sanderson sisters.
Yeah, we've literally talked about this.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
If somebody's doing some magic, you would say, well, that's a lot of...
Witchcraft?
No. 2 words. It rhymes.
Hocus Pocus.
That is correct. I'll give that to you.
Right.
You work for it. I'll give it to you. Hocus Pocus is correct.
Right.
Sarah Jessica Parker, Kathy and Jimmy, and then Bette Midler was the key there. So remake, not good, but we watch Hocus Pocus every Halloween year, and the Fontana household is pretty great. All right, you want to get to linebackers before I tell you the obscene amount of money that EA Sports is making? Yes. So obviously, Jeremy Fowler, top 10, 80 people rank it, off-ball linebackers. Like TJ Watt's a linebacker, but that's not what they're talking about. They're talking about the true, when you think of linebacker, that's who you think.
Sure.
Do you want to even guess? Do you have any ideas?
Yeah, I'll guess.
All right, number 1.
Roquan Smith?
No.
Fred
This guy
Warner?
got 80% of the first place votes. He did not rank lower than second, and obviously was number 1 last year as well.
Fred Warner?
Fred Warner is correct. Number 2.
Roquan Smith?
Roquan Smith is correct. He was the only other one to get first place votes other than Fred Warner. Lowest ranking at 2. By the way, they were 1 and 2 last year. Number 3.
Patrick Queen?
No. Patrick Queen is 4.
Okay.
So you're right on it. This guy's pretty close, though. The only issue is, do you want the hint?
Nick Bolton?
No. I wanted the Browns to take Nick Bolton so bad out of Missouri. I love Nick Bolton. He's so good.
Matt Milano?
That is correct.
Let's go.
They say because he missed most of last year with that broken leg. They say he's still a beast. Matt Milano 3. You already got Patrick Queen 4. Number 5?
Oh my God, who did I literally just say?
You just said him. I love him.
Nick Bolton.
Nick Bolton is correct. Number 6.
Number 6. Not Shaq Barrett.
No.
Why are you looking at me like that? They didn't put Jock, did they?
Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah.
Are you serious?
6.
Wow.
Bro, he had a high ranking of 3.
Wow.
Somebody put him at 3. Now, the low ranking is unranked, and this is one of those positions that you could be at 3 and unranked. Like the pass rushers were like, you're either 1 and 4, or, 2 and 6, something like that. This is a wide open thing. He was 6.
Wow.
After injuries limited his first 2 years, Owusu-Koramoah enjoyed a Pro Bowl turn in year 3. He led all off-ball linebackers in tackles for loss with 20 and tied for first with Denzel Perryman in run-stop win rate. He showed up big time in that playoff loss to Houston. An NFC scout, he's a tremendous athlete who runs like a corner and finally found his stride to play with confidence. One AFC executive countered that Owusu-Koramoah's play is too inconsistent to be elite, but he must tighten up in coverage as well. Another NFC exec said, you live with the mistakes because the game-changing plays are so good. The exec said, many of his scouts loved his ability coming into the draft, but were concerned about his size and that he'd be overcome and make plays, but he's overcome that and makes plays all over the field. You can live with the lack of instincts in some areas because he's a playmaker with a quick trigger to the ball. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah was 6.
I didn't think they put him that high.
I like it, man. And by the way, on a very serious note, I know he tweeted this out. His brother was murdered a few years ago, and the person that did it is going to court. And he put out a message like, we want to flood I think it unfortunately probably already happened,
I didn't know
about this, but I think it was his cousin, where a house was set on fire. They go inside, and unfortunately they found Jeremiah's brother there, and he's very tight with his brother. So I don't mean to bring it down, but I just want to bring light to it about Jared. Go follow him on Twitter. He retweeted because he wanted people to flood the courtroom because obviously that guy should go to jail for the rest of his life. There's no way he should ever get out of jail. So Jeremiah was bringing up information on that, so wanted to bring that up as well. So he is 6. Now we get a little dicey here.
Okay.
7.
Okay, so I'm assuming Shaq wasn't on the list.
Shaq was not in the top 10.
Okay.
Actually, I don't think they gave him votes as he's probably a pass rusher.
Okay. I was thinking Matthew Judon.
No, same thing. I think he's a pass rusher.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'll just run through it because
is Anzalone on there?
It's he got votes, but he's not in the top 10. So number 7, Tremaine Edmonds of the Bears. Number 8, former Cleveland Brown, Demario Davis, who, boy, has he turned out a great career for himself in his 30s, man. That's great. Dre Greenlaw, 9. Foyce Aluakon of the Jags, who just is a tackle machine, was 10. C.J. Mosley, Levante David, Quincy Williams, Logan Wilson, Zaire Franklin, T.J. Edwards, and Bobby Wagner, all honorable mentions for the best linebackers. But Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah at 6. I think that's pretty damn good.
Yeah, that's a lot
pretty
of respect.
good. Do you want to know the insane amount of money that they have made off of EA Sports?
Let's hear it.
Already? Did I close it? Oh, no, I got it right here. Sorry. So this was just on the streaming number of people playing College Football 25 yesterday. So at one point, they had near 714,000 players were online playing EA College Football 25 during its early release. The 2 early packages were either $100 or $150. Excuse me. So Bro Bible said, let's just split the difference. $125 at 714,000 players. That is $89 million, with it most likely being greater than 100, if not closer to 150 to $200 million on day 1 of early access. But they won't give it to me. They won't make it for the prior gen consoles. They made $90 million in their first day. Well, Matt, get in the 21st century. Get a new console. Blank off. Come on, man.
Sorry, man.
90 at minimum, $90 million.
I don't know what to tell you.
It's gonna. They haven't got the numbers yet. They believe that this will become the highest grossing sports video game of all time in a single day. Sorry. I don't care. Play it. My loss is your game. Go to Twitter, X, at Matt Fontana Show, retweet and follow for your chance to win my copy of EA Sports College Football 25. We'll announce our winner at the end of the week, either Xbox or PlayStation, whatever you need. All right, Ryan, quickly, we got to finish things out here. Bracket, best guitarist, Group 3 went last night, and our winner,
Eddie Van Halen.
Yeah, easy, right? Couple points.
Pretty easy.
All right, Group 4 goes tonight. Tell everybody who it is.
Chuck Berry, Jimmy Page, Tom Morello, and Joe Walsh.
Vote at Matt Fontana Show. Drop us a follow, and, of course, get in on our giveaway for EA College Football. Bets for tonight. Let me see if I can get this quick for you. All right, All-Star Game. They write up here. They go, bet on a low-scoring game. Don't want notifications. Thank you very much. Bet on it here.
Are there MVP odds?
Yeah, we'll get to, yeah. So the American League is a slight 118 favorite. Over-under is 7.5. The under has hit 14 out of the last 17 All-Star games. We haven't had a total of more than 7 since 2018. The pitching is so good. It's changed out so much. Take the under. The AL has won 9 out of the last 10 games. The under is 14-1-2 in the last 17 All-Star games. The AL has won 28 of the last 34 All-Star games. You want your MVP? A batter has won the MVP 8 out of the last 10 All-Star games. One of those that didn't, though.
Mr. Justin Bieber.
Justin Shane, that is. A shortstop has not won the All-Star Game MVP since 2006. Your favorite, and by the
2006, I want to guess.
The last
was it AL or NL?
The last shortstop to win an All-Star Game MVP was 2006. He was on an AL team.
An AL team?
Yes.
Oh, I was thinking an NL guy. Damn it. Oh, was it like Jeter?
No. You would say that'd be a really solid guess. You would think so.
No idea.
Michael Young of the Texas Rangers. Remember him?
Yeah,
remember him? That's it. MVP odds. Now, by the way, these are maybe where you make some hay because Shohei Ohtani is the favorite at plus 800. Yeah. So everybody's plus 800 or longer.
I mean, like people...
Judge 950, Harper 1100, Gunnar Henderson 1200, Juan Soto 14, Yordan Alvarez 18, Trey Turner 18, Bobby Witt plus 2000. Here's what I think. If you think the AL is going to win, which I do, just sprinkle some on an AL player.
David Fry.
That'd be great.
All it takes is one at bat.
He goes yard. He goes grand slam.
Yeah.
Grand salami. Why not? I'll mess around with that later. I am slamming the under tonight, though.
When's first pitch?
8 o'clock.
Who's the AL starter?
Corbin Burns.
Is Corbin Burns?
Yeah.
What team?
He plays for the Orioles, doesn't he?
Oh, he got traded?
Yeah.
He goes.
Yeah, he pitches for the Orioles. Yeah. He goes, and then obviously Skeens goes. I don't know, man. What if Skeens went no? Because pitchers, like I said, the trend tells you it's not going to be a pitcher. They gave it to Bieber because it was here and nobody else deserved it. I'm thinking a large wager here on the under.
All
right, large wager there.
That means hit the over.
Yeah, fade me. How? I like the AL to win. I like them to win by more than a run, too. All right, that's good there. I am just throwing cash out right now. This is not good. Get me off this. I got to make my money for the British Open and the Call of Duty Championships this weekend.
There you go.
Damn it. Where's my MVP? Where's MVP? Why can't I find the MVP? All right, I'll find that later. We're way late. All right, Wednesday, Tuesday, whatever the hell day is, we got Enter the Jungle tonight, James Rapien and crew, and then, of course, Josh and Maria tonight with The Return. We're back tomorrow, 9 a.m., same time, same channel. Appreciate you following. For Ryan Tyler, I'm Matt Fontana. As always, take it easy.